Hello, Warpath commanders. This is Legendary Dwayne. Goths and 300 are on the offensive and they're trying to clean out ILC and F2P in the ocean, of course. Now, the point I want to highlight here is there's a base to base balance dilemma that the developers have. I've made one video on this before, but I'm just showing you the raw power of army groups. Just see the amount of ships that are going. No base can last against such army groups. And here comes the problem. The problem right now with the balance of the game is if you make bases weak, they go down in seconds against army groups, big army groups, right? But if you make bases strong for 1 versus 1 situation, they're still not strong enough for the groups. You can see the amount of groups. So the balance between fighting for groups and doing the individual gameplay is totally like perplexed. You can't make your way through the balance because as a developer you can't find that sweet spot. You're unable to make the game equally balanced for 1 versus 1 and also against the groups. No matter how strong the base is, it will go down against the groups, right? Now the problem is just see the AD that started the attack. So it lost like few units and the base is gone. So you won't even kill the attacking unit before the base blows up. Now if they make the bases strong against army groups, then you can't do 1 versus 1. They become unkillable. Then the players complain that bases are too strong, the defense is too strong, you have to make the defense weak. But when there are like 7 to 8 army groups, like we are seeing these fleets, there are like 10 fleets rolling out in the ocean right now, and against 10 fleets nothing can stand. So I don't know if developers have to make the limit of the fleets you can make or limit of the army groups you can create, because otherwise it just distorts the balance of the game. I hope you're getting my point across, because you have to balance the game in a manner, have to find the sweet spot where there is ample opportunity for 1 versus 1 at higher leagues, and also there is opportunity for group players. Now, it's impossible to withstand such army groups. I don't want the bases to be too strong to be able to withstand such army groups. I'm just trying to make a point that it's very hard as a developer to make that sweet spot, but you have to do something. You have to limit the number of fleets or the army groups alliance can operate at the same time. Maybe limit them to 6. Maybe limit them to 8. So whales can get taken out, but the army groups shouldn't be too many that they go down in seconds. They tried to bring that feature, that wall effect, that every 3 days you get, that gives you 5-6 extra seconds to stop blowing the bases immediately. But the problem is either you make that once per day, or either you limit the number of army groups you can operate, or the limit the number of fleets you can operate in the ocean, because players work hard on their units, on their technology, on their everything, and when their base flies out in seconds, that's just not fair from a defense point of view. I understand the bases don't have to be that strong, the offensive capability has to be there. So 1 versus 1 should also be encouraged. There should not be like a staring contest where the bases get too strong and players just avoid losing reserves and stop attacking the players. But then there is this scenario where there are like 10 plus fleets moving around, and you can't do anything about them because no base can survive them. So you have to make that middle spot do something. Limit the number of fleets and groups, army groups you can make, or maybe make that wall effect once per day instead of once per 3 days. So at least you get 5 extra seconds and get some more kills before you blow up. And I understand the perspective players often say that the activity must be rewarded. It's totally fair. If some alliance is super active and they are able to run 10 fleets, great. But you have to see for the overall benefit of the player community. So you don't have to just focus on the hyperactive top alliances like I am doing right now. But you also have to like keep in mind the majority of the groups and majority of the gamers, that how they are enjoying the game. So there has to be a balance in between where bases are not that strong that you can't even do one versus one against them, but they are not that weak that they become a paper foil against an army group. So that balance is very hard to find right now. And I think one of the best, easiest, simplest thing developers can do right now is just make that wall effect, instead of 3 days, make it daily. Every 24 hours you can apply it once. Or limit the number of groups, whichever option is better. Do let me know in the comments what you guys think of this, and does it bother you, or it's not one of your concerns, it doesn't matter to you. I personally think that the number of army groups you can do should be limited to 6 or 8. Like more than 8 army groups, you don't need more than 8 army groups, right? Or fleets even. So the number should be limited. So yeah, it might benefit whales in a way. So that's why they don't want to do it. I understand that perspective as well, that maybe the whale bases will be too strong then, and since you limit the number of army groups, what if the whales don't die? So there is that concern. But if you don't want to incorporate that, then just do the wall effect every day instead of 3 days. That's even simpler, in my opinion. It just gives you 5 extra seconds and you won't make a huge difference. You'll die regardless. You might just get few, like 10 or 20 more kills. That's it. So it doesn't make any significant difference. So just make it once per day, and that might not be the solution, but that might give some solace to players that at least once a day against massive army groups, large number of army groups, you can last 5 more seconds.